All right, so my name is Ryan Gaylor, and I'm the distance learning librarian for the University of St. Augustine. And today we're going to take a look at visible body. It's a group of dynamic um, anatomy learning modules, and my aim for our session today is to give you just sort of a rundown of its features, capabilities, and how to integrate it into your course in some way. We'll probably focus most of the time, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, on the Human Anatomy Atlas. It's the most robust content, and it actually kind of gives you a pretty reasonable idea of exactly how each of the apps work. So, but you know, by all means, if you want me to show you one of the additional apps, I can do that for you as well. But I just definitely wanted to focus on, I would say, the most important one. So anyway, there's lots of great content in Visible Body, and I think it will be very beneficial for your students. And if you have a question, chime in or drop a question in the chat box. So this is when I cut my camera so I can focus. All right, terrific. So using Visible Body in the online classroom, our agenda, as I said, I'm kind of hoping that this goes by fairly quickly today, since we're only going to focus on one of the applications. I'm just going to give a little bit of background, Visible Body, talk about some of its capabilities and the features. Using Visible Body, we're going to do a demonstration. As I will warn you again, it's been running kind of slow today, and I'm pretty sure it's because of everybody is trying to access the tool today, being the first day of classes. So I hope, knock on wood, that there's we don't have any snags, but I'm sure that now that I say that, but anyway. Also, I'll give you a little bit of background information about Visible Bodies, especially the Human Anatomy Atlas's learning supplements, and these will include things like lesson plans, lesson plans, lab activities, knowledge checks, and much of this is embedded into Visible Body, which is great. I still have a couple people swinging in, so I'm admitting people as they come in. So if I stop for a second, I'm trying to do two things at once. So, okay. Next on our list is just sort of a rundown of Visible Body. It's basically visualizations that are curated into a series of, curated into a series of learning modules. The modules are then further designed to fit a specific type of healthcare profession, student, or instructor. Institutions subscribe to one of the products, while others subscribe to all of them. The University of St. Augustine subscribes to the majority of them, as well as to its mobile app as well. And I'll talk a little bit about that as well. So these are the Visible Body products that you have access to, that we subscribe to. I'm going to go through them. The first one, of course, being a Human Anatomy Atlas, the one we'll focus on most today. Next is Muscle Premium. The other one is Physiology Animations, Heart and Circulatory Premium, Skeleton Premium. And you'll notice that those two right there, Anatomy and its Function, is the only one that is out of the product list that we do not subscribe to currently. But there's still a lot of great content to be had for sure. So Human Anatomy Atlas, the one we're going to focus most of the time on today, it covers all of the body systems, all the body regions. It's also the one that has, as I mentioned at the top of this, it's probably the most robust the applications, and I think you'll find that once you take a look at it. Next one, of course, that I mentioned is Muscle Premium. It's 3D images of muscles, ligaments. It has different models of conditions. It has also videos that are curated by PTs, as well as MDs and researchers. So I got a couple other people coming in. Sorry. And it also has featured actions as well, pathology models, muscle stimulation, animation, as well as self-knowledge or self-paced knowledge checks. Next one is Skeleton Premium. It's going to be hundreds of 3D bone models, and of course, bone model. If you have the bones, it's going to go along with ligaments, and there are also moving models as well. Animations, illustrations, that's all included as well as the self quizzes as well, just to test you on your knowledge of the body systems or of the segment of the body that you would like to quiz yourself on. Last two that I'll talk about is the physiology animations, as well as heart and circulatory premium. P&A is really it illustrates body functions. It also has detailed physiology of common conditions. It also includes rundowns of the endocrine glands, for example. It's function of the skeleton, as well as the circulatory system, and it has a lot of animations of the skeletal muscle contractions. It actually looks actually pretty cool on there. Heart and circulatory system, the last one, of course, it gives you very detailed 3D images on veins and the structure of the heart. The views are from they're from all angles. There is also a dissection feature, which is similar to the Human Anatomy Atlas. So yeah, it's all of these tools are very, very helpful to use in your anatomy and physiology class. I'm going to go ahead and switch to doing a quick demo of anatomy. Oops. No questions just yet? Well, if you have questions, of course, you can ask them. Let's go. Well, first thing I'd like to show you is how to get to visible body. Just in case you haven't had a chance to check it out just yet. Let's go to library homepage. So from the library homepage, there's a couple of different access points for this. First one's going to be through resources. You can go to videos and interactive tools, and it's going to be located right here under visible body anatomy. I'll click on it in a second. I just want to show you the other access point, which we've kind of collected and put together an anatomy library guide, which has pretty much all the library's resources that are dedicated to human anatomy and physiology is going to be located here. So yeah, this is the other location. Also here, you will see this is how to access visible body. You would click on this link, and you have to log into the library to view it as well. And then, since we're going to spend a lot of the time with Human Anatomy Atlas, I'm going to select this one and load it. But like I said, I went ahead and selected it and loaded it prior to the presentation because I was a little afraid that the traffic situation might bog it down a little. So I've already done this, folks. In a few minutes, I'm going to switch screens. But before I do that, I do also want to point out Visible Body's application that can be added to your mobile device. Works for both Apple devices as well as Android devices, and the instructions on how to download the application are located here. Yeah, it's kind of lengthy. I get it, but yeah, it takes a little bit of time, but I would definitely say that that it's worth downloading to your device. When you have the mobile application, you can also use Visible Body's sort of flagship feature right now, which is its um, augmented reality feature. Which, if we have enough time, I can show you a quick video on that. I have it set up on my iPhone, but I was having trouble sharing it. So I have like a very short video just to show you exactly how it works, and I'll show that when I get to the mobile applications part. But this is how you would download the application and use it. So let's go ahead and go to Visible Body. I'm going to stop sharing and go to the Visible Body page, the one that the actual application page, so you all can see it. And here we go. All right, so this is once you access Human Anatomy Atlas, this is what you're going to see, and it's situated in views, and then it's further broken down into body regions, body systems, gross anatomy lab, cross sections, microanatomy, and muscle actions. And actually, right before I go off and kind of just show you a brief demo of some of the tools, I'm going to put into the chat a couple of really helpful links for using Visible Body, as well as I think for the presentation, is these 3 links that I'm putting into the chat right now. These are the Visible Body instructor training manuals. These actually provide you with information about how to incorporate Visible Body into your course, as well as lab activities, quizzes, lesson plans, and things like that. You'll find the majority of it is going to be listed under, I believe it's called Instructor Resources. That's down there at the bottom. But on here, I've also provided that link to the augmented reality mode, which of course is only available through the mobile application. So yeah, I've passed those on to you for now to take a look at those later if you have a moment. But I'm going to just kind of give just a quick demo on how they work. It's very intuitive. You basically are going to be selecting, if you want it to circle in a 360 view, you're essentially just going to use your cursor, select the background, and then you can sort of move it pretty easily that way. I'll show you once we start to select various bones, but the zoom in is really great as well, as far as detail is quite clear and quite good. When you start selecting different bones and structure, it will alert you to exactly what that bone is over here. It also will provide you with a little bit of definitions and a little bit more insight, pathologies as well. As you can see, it's got a lot of great information located here. Let me see. It gives a little bit more detail into the bone by using that view, and you can select different pieces of the bone for this example. So we have the humerus, very sort of the top part of the humerus there that we can view. Let's go back to our initial. Go back to exit that view really quick, and of course under details as well, it gives us a little bit more about, gives us the microanatomy view of the bone as well, which is nice. That's pretty cool. We can go back out by doing refresh, actually. Oops, sorry about that. Oops. Okay, so now we're back. We also have other things that we can add to the skeleton here, which is really cool. So if we wanted to add ligaments to our skeleton, we'd use this to activate this particular region. Let's do the circulatory system, arteries, pretty nice. And yeah, the detail is really cool, and really to add muscles to it. Looks neat. You can even add skin as well. So yeah, there's the anatomy search tool right here. You can use that to look up information about an anatomical topic. There is the dissection tool, which you will probably use mostly if you're looking at a, well, I think you can also do it when you're just looking at it from the muscle region as well, the muscle view. So we just click on the scalp, and it'll automatically do the dissection for you to, save you some of the gore, I suppose. But yeah, the hue, and these, of course, you can zoom in on. This view, I don't think will allow us to look at the palpitations of the actual muscle, but one of the other body regions area does. It'll actually show you of what this looks like in real time, or in its in an animation. Again, you get a little bit more detail as far as skin layers. You can peel that back as well. Yeah, and so all of the information that I'm clicking on is popping up here in this right-hand panel. And of course, you can still continue to research that part. So let's see, we can go through, well, I'm definitely not going to go through each of the systems here, but I did want to show you the gross anatomy lab. That's one of them that I wanted to. This is also one where you would use as the dissection tool, excuse me, and it sort of simulates the using a cadaver for your course. Let's see, I believe you can flip the cadaver by going over here on the right to gross anatomy lab, and it'll do that for you. And then of course you can manipulate it to for different views. We'll do another dissection here. So yeah, peels back. You can see really good detail of the muscles, nerves. Yeah. Do the other part there. There's a couple of other bits you can also do with this as well. Let me remove the outer layer and just do the skeleton, which you can do that as on if you're watching over here on the left side. But I'm basically just going through and deactivating the ones that are currently activated, which you can just do by opening up the systems section over here and then just going through and clicking it. So it just sort of peels away each layer, I guess. Because I wanted to go to bones and show you a couple of different things that you can do with this view, and generally with all of the views here, they have a add tag you can do as well, where you can select a place, and let me minimize the body system so you can see it. So you can add your own little notes to it, and these notes can be saved as well. It's actually pretty simple to create. I'll go back to that now and get into that, but there's a tours section that's up here, which requires you to create a human anatomy Atlas login. It's free, but the perk of it is that it allows you to create your own anatomy tours, as well as to save those for later use. So I've put together just a couple to show you as an example. These are views that I saved to just sort of, for instance, if I was going to introduce the brain to my class, I would, kind of maybe do a overview of it, focusing on different aspects and progressing down to, yeah. So you can make these actually pretty lengthy. I haven't really gone past the 13 slide side, but it will definitely give you like a full tour of whatever you would like to present to your class. This is basically how you would formulate your 3D tour, is by picking favorite images and then selecting those images just to create a short 3D tour, which of course you could probably see that the one that I was just showing you about the brain and the brain and the skull was actually put together from these images. You can also do note cards as well just for studying or just for reference in the future. You can basically just go out to any of the images here and click on annotation down there at the bottom, and then enter in your note or definition, and then let's see. It should be waiting there for us. Where is my save? So yeah, that should allow you to save that little note for you for later. I'll just give it so that we have that for future reference if we need it. The quizzes section. Click on quizzes. This just will pretty much give you quick knowledge checks. I'd say that some of them range from about 15 questions to all the way up to 50 questions. That's of course that's dependent on the scope of the quiz, of course. But you usually get 3 attempts to answer each one of these, and I know I'm probably not going to pick the right one, but that's okay. I'm just kind of showing you because I'm a librarian, not a clinician, so I'm just kind of giving you an idea of exactly what that would look like to your student. All right, and so after the 3rd time of me not knowing anything about my anatomy, it gives me the correct answer right there and highlighted. It's over there highlighted in blue. So I'd be able to check on that right there by zooming in. All right. And let's go back out. And then you have lab activities. Those are located here as well. You have your pulmonary and circulation lab, if you choose that. I would say the labs generally are the lab exercises. If you go to click on Get PDFs, you'll probably find that they're very kind of elementary in some places, I guess, but but it's a good template to go by. This is just sort of a sample one of possible ideas for your labs that you can use as well. They have, let's go back out. This is the link that I sent you all that is lab activities. This is so you can download the full lab for, say, the pulmonary and circulatory systems. I have that here. Like I said, I wouldn't say that it's there's definitely room to add to these activities for sure. If you're interested, nope, that's not what I was going to show you. So yeah, so those are your lab activities. And let's go back to visible body here. And then I think that's pretty much the gist of it. I definitely encourage you all to definitely check it out. The last thing I'm going to show you, of course, is that demonstration of the augmented reality feature, which is available through the mobile application. So give me one moment to share that with you. Okay. Okay, let's see, make sure this plays for you. So this is just the quick video overview of this.
Augmented reality mode is available for certain iPhones and iPads.
You guys can hear the sound.
To place a 3D model in an environment, navigate to the microanatomy or gross anatomy lab section. Select any 3D model view. Turn on augmented reality mode. Scan the environment to find a surface. Sparkles indicate you are close to finding a surface. When AR mode finds a surface, a yellow target appears. Tap the target to place the model. Use these finger gestures to adjust or interact with the model. Drag 2 fingers on screen to reposition. Use 1 finger to rotate. Pinch open or closed to scale. Select a structure to access additional information and features. Select reposition to place the model on a new surface. Deselect augmented reality to exit AR mode.
Okay, so that's the mobile application part, and that is really the end of this presentation. If any of you all have any questions about visible body,
hey Ryan,
you can reach out to the library.
Ryan, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I tried to use the dissection part. Is it dissection? Have you used that extensively? I was just trying to see is there a quick command to, when you dissect structures, to put them back, like we do that in the anatomy table? It's like,
yeah, right.
A quick way to just I can remove it and show them back, and remove it and show them back.
Right. Yeah. Give me. Let me bring that up for you so I can show you. There is a way to do it. Let's go to Gross Anatomy Lab. So if we have this gentleman here, let's do our. Oops. Sorry. I'm going to add skin to him so I can show you so you can see it a little bit better, full skin. So using the dissection tool, click on it down here, and then you're going to do your cut. To put it back, let's see, that's a good question. I didn't have that problem before. Oops. Oh, I see. So yeah, this is why I didn't remember it at first. What you have up here in the top left-hand corner, where you'll see menu, gender, is that's the refresh button, and that should actually.
I think that refreshed the whole thing. I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I just saw that. I thought that was the way we did it. There's also a history.
I was just playing with it.
Well, yeah, there's also history down here, which I think would take you back to the original view. So you can do undo, and there it comes back.
Where did you go there?
So I went to dissect, did the cut,
Uh-huh.
and then history down here has an undo button.
I see. Okay.
You can bring it back up. Yeah, yeah. That was a good question. I almost forgot myself.
History and okay, that'll help. Thanks.
Does anybody have any other questions? I'm going to bring back my last slide, and I'm also going to throw into the chat really quickly. We have a quick survey. If you guys just have a minute of your time to go check, I think it's only 5 questions. I'll add that in here. Let me get back to my PowerPoint slide, and we'll finish off everything, and I'll get a chance to look at the chat and see if there's any questions in there as well. Let's see.
Ryan, is there any limits to the number of people who can access the visible body?
No. It's open to anyone who is affiliated with the university. As far as being able to use the program today, it's been running kind of slow, but it's mostly because I presume it's because it's the first day of the term and a lot of people are using it. But as far as having permission to use it, it's strictly University of St. Augustine staff and affiliates and students, of course. So I see Mel asked a question. I wonder if the anatomy and function would be good for the OT department, as this is our focus in our applied anatomy to occupational therapy. Oh, very nice. That's a good question. I will. I could definitely bring that up to Julie as particularly one to check into it. Yeah, I'll be in touch, Mo. Okay, if you're still there. Let's see, what else do we have? I believe that's it. I don't see any more questions. Does anybody else have anything that they'd like to ask, or they want me to do a demonstration of? I was kind of happy that this kind of ended a little bit sooner. Can we see the respiration rate? Yeah, sure. I think that's the one. I can get to that through the respiration. I believe that's the one. Well, we have a couple different ones that actually offer that view. Yes, this is a recorded session for sure. A couple different ways to go through that. Let's see. We'll go through our systems, respiratory system. So this is going to show us the view itself, but I believe, let me go back out to muscle actions. This is where you would see it in Human Anatomy Atlas, but we have one that's particularly specializes in that I'll go to. This is just the movement of the muscle, not necessarily respiration. Here, let me go back out. I'm going to cross my fingers as well to see if we can get into one of these, to one of the applications, so I can show that. Can you all still see my screen, the Visible Body app?
Mm-hmm.
All right. This is Circulatory Premium, and I'm hoping it loads so we can take a look at. The other one that does it as well is this one. Also, this one shows it, but so does I believe, Heart and Circulatory and Physiology and Animations do it really well. If it would load. Well, as we wait, I can pass along a video that actually does this justice. If you give me 1 second, I can put it in the chat for you. I'm sorry about that. Like I said, I feel like a lot of people are using it today, which is great, and it's been kind of slowed down the last few hours. I've almost got a video for you. Again, my apologies. Hopefully it's coming up. But I have that video if you want to check that out. Oh, there we go. There it is.
The circulatory system is composed of the heart and the blood vasculature, the arteries and the veins.
Are you guys seeing the video?
Arteries carry blood away from the heart, and veins carry blood back to the heart. Circulating blood supplies cells throughout the body with oxygen and removes waste carbon dioxide. Oxygen is absorbed into the bloodstream.
A second. Okay, I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm just waiting for it to come up. But I guess in the interim, if you don't mind, I can pass along the video that kind of walks you through that process. This is with asthma, actually, which is pretty interesting. I'll put this in the chat. Once again, my apologies for that. Anybody else have any questions? Well, once again, I really, really thank you all for coming out today. Want to stay and chat a little bit more about it? Definitely, I'll hang out and I'll answer your questions if you need, but I really appreciate your patience today. And once again, thank you. I put into the chat there
organs and processes of the respiratory system. Our first stop is the overview animation. This animation briefly discusses the key functions of the respiratory system, pulmonary ventilation and gas exchange, and how they occur in a healthy respiratory system.
Thanks again, I appreciate it. And,
to look at the principal respiratory organs in more detail, let's follow the 3D respiratory tract tour. The info box gives a brief overview of the structures in each view. As you go, you can manipulate, annotate, and fade or hide structures, just like in human anatomy atlas.
I really appreciate you coming out, and thank you for your patience.
The 3D model in each view
Hey, Ryan, it's Michelle.
Hey, Michelle.
Dallas, I have a question. For our applied functional anatomy, do you have any resource like this for range of motion assessment with goniometers or manual muscle testing?
That is a very good question. I'm going to say that that's no right now, but if you would like, what I'll do is I will talk to my colleagues and see if I can get you something. I don't know if you've had the opportunity to check this out before, but we have a University of St. Augustine.
Let's focus in on the airway defenses. The goal of these defenses is to protect the lung tissue from harmful particles in inhaled air. In healthy lungs, irritant receptors can cause bronchospasm or bronchoconstriction. Mucus is produced to trap unwanted particles, and cilia move the mucus towards the pharynx.
Some of it very gruesome, by the way.
So, let's compare the normal response of the airway defenses with what happens during an asthma attack. Asthma attacks are often triggered when the airway defenses come into contact with irritants and allergens, such as pollen, pet dander, and dust. These particles, physical activity, or other environmental factors cause the airways to become irritated.
Can't really
This
hear
results
you.
in excess
Oh
mucus
no, I
production,
can't
which
either.
can lead to narrowing of the airways and edema, or fluid buildup.
Is that me? Oh,
Smooth
okay.
muscles lining the airways
Alright.
react to this
Sorry about
irritation by contracting, causing bronchoconstriction.
There you go. I have no idea what you said because the video was really
Okay.
loud.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So it started playing when I opened up the page. I didn't even
It
realize
did.
that.
It did it earlier also, right at the end of your presentation.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, no. I wish I would have said something.
I
It's
tried.
okay.
It was loud.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Let's see, where was I? So those videos I was mentioning, you guys see the library homepage right here.
Yes.
Our YouTube guide would have lots of content. I think it has lots of content like that. I do know if you go to the YouTube channel itself, there is many videos. But if you'd like, I can definitely check in to see if there are any good demonstrations or types of activities like that, even if it's like an animation. I will also say, I know the videos and our videos and interactive tools, we also have these as well. Again, I'm not sure if that is explicitly addressed in these, but there's our Auckland's video, Atlas of Human Anatomy has content like that. But yeah, again, if it's okay, I can check up for you if you want.
The only reason I'm saying Clarkson is because that's what their practical is based on for
Right.
our OT and PT.
Right.
I believe YouTube, Priya Clarkson.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Musculoskeletal assessment. Is this the book you use as well?
You know what? I'm not in that class, so
Okay.
it's Royce. Yeah.
Okay, I do, and so I haven't checked their online resources, Ryan. I just didn't know if like visible bodies is an extra. If it
Not
was already.
exactly. Yeah.
So thank you, and I didn't know about all this wonderful stuff here. This is great.
Yeah,
I know.
Like this is like a whole other full day probably talking about these. So,
That's
but yeah,
great.
I would say that this is the main one to, I guess, to focus on if you want to play around with it today at some point. But yeah, so you're looking for sort of animations and videos on practicing
Musculoskeletal assessments, goniometry, range of motion, and manual muscle testing.
Right.
Applied, to the therapy. I know nursing rarely would use a goniometer, I think,
Right.
or do muscle testing, but the therapist, even speech for upper.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So Ryan, does the students have this kind of training on visible body anatomy?
They will, yes. So we're
Okay.
offering additional training sessions. We typically offer a visible body kind of rundown twice a term, usually. We've got one coming up. It's a virtual library orientation for visible body. You can see it on my screen here. That's going to be on September 15th. And we also have this same presentation. We're going to offer it again at the end of the month, just for faculty. Surprisingly, I had this advertised on the website, our session we have now, and mostly students signed up for it initially. So I had to hurry up and make a separate one for the students. But yeah, they get some training.
Yeah, our anatomy lab will start tomorrow, and I feel like this will be a great tool for them to play with and learn, because the iCloud, the Anatomage is only very limited access even for the faculty, so and even that today, this morning when we tried, it didn't work the whole time. Right. So that's why I had that question whether how many people can access this, So.
Yeah, it's I'm going to